Brilliance Audio presents The Secret Baby by Leddy Harper, performed by C.J. Bloom and Aidan Snow. It was like a yeti had thrown up on everything. White walls, a white sofa, even white rose petals littered the coffee table, furniture made of maple, every piece hand-carved and likely worth a small fortune. Sheer drapes hung from ivory rods set above a wall of windows. Everything was crisp, bright, white. Even at 8 in the morning there was no need for a lamp. Warm light glossed the room, a luminous sheen of magnificence and perfection coating every square inch. Staging homes came with a list of pros and cons. This house was the epitome of a pro. Glancing around, I didn't see much for me to do in the way of making it marketable. Hell, I could have made a mess, and it would probably still sell for more than the asking price. But I wasn't about to argue with the realtor. If she wanted to pay me to take down a few pictures here and there, hang a couple of pieces of art, and add some throw pillows and blankets, maybe a rug or two, then so be it. I certainly wouldn't turn my nose up at that. There was nothing like an easy project to start my day off right. However, that feeling quickly changed when I turned toward the built-in entertainment unit along the far wall. My eyes didn't settle on the ridiculously large TV in the center, or the tall crystal vases filled with twisted sticks of bamboo and pristine white silk flowers. Rather than focus on the polished knobs of the glass cabinets along the top, the ceramic seahorse on a shelf to the right, or even the snow globe of a white mountain top, my sight fell upon a picture frame that appeared to have been made out of small pieces of dried wood. Antique, maybe, or possibly leftover logs from a fire, pale with charred accents that gave it an overall ash-gray color. But it wasn't the frame that made me pause. It was the photo inside. And as I stood in the middle of this exquisite room, surrounded by its beauty, wrapped in its brilliance, I couldn't help but feel cold. The emotions clawing their way up my throat were a stark contrast to everything around me. Red to the white, fury to the calm, chaos to the precision. The only word filling my head was con. Con, con, con. This had to be a joke. A horrible, painful, sadistic joke from the universe. Karma cashing in her rain check from a mistake I had never intended to make in the first place. There was no other explanation for how I had found myself in the middle of his house, staring at a photo of him and his wife. Her in a white wedding dress, him in a matching tux, his arm around her ridiculously tiny waist, her eyes set on his profile, a smile painted on his lying, smarmy, manipulative lips. Everything was white, the color of silence. How fitting. Slowly, calmly, I pivoted, turning my back on him the same way he'd done to me. My hands curled in on themselves at my sides to keep from destroying the facade he cowered behind. All I wanted to do was shatter his fraudulent existence, demolish the carefully crafted image of perfection he surrounded himself in. I'd wanted to do it years ago, when he had done those very same things to me. Crushed my dreams, destroyed my innocence, annihilated my heart. I had wanted him to feel the pain he'd left on my doorstep, but I never did. Doing so would have only wrecked my reputation and killed my character. But now I found myself filled with the same acrid urges, the same venomous desires as before, to expose him for the snake he was. Except, once again, doing so would ruin me. Instead of giving in to the resentment and desire for vengeance that had been resuscitated by his wedding photo, I pulled myself from my back pocket and dialed the only person who had ever been there for me.